Raising responsible men for stronger families and safer communities. Here in the studio today, we have wonderful guests who have come to say something very unique, interesting, and that will catch your purpose. You know, a lot of noise, a lot of things have been said about the girl child in the society, but then this organization, these wonderful gents have taken it upon themselves to say, no, we have to say something about the boy child in the society. And with me here today in the studio, I have Barrister Chimdi Nwoke, who is the founder of Ugwumba Development Foundation. You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I also have my wonderful boss, a friend from afar, just somebody I have admired so well, Dr. Wisdom Angocha. Dr. Wisdom Angocha is a lecturer in Abia State University, too, most of you know, and he's also the founder of Dr. Angocha Progressive Movement. Doc,
thank you.
It's nice having you today.
Thank you very much.
All right, so today we have something very interesting. You know, just like I've said, a whole lot of things have been said. All we hear on the social media is the girl child, the girl child, the girl child. But what happens to the boy child? Is he supposed to be left all alone? And today, the Ugwumba Development Foundation has come to say something quite different. Barrister, please, can you quickly introduce us to what we have on us today?
Okay. The summit is called the Nwoke Di Nma Initiative Summit 2026.
Okay.
It's a flagship program birthed through my foundation by the grace of God, the Ugwumba Development Foundation. And the agenda is simple. We are seeking to reframe the concept of masculinity to revolve more around positive lines, a bit of a departure from the conventional narrative of dominance, and begin to approach the concept from the context of responsibility, of leadership, of discipline. It's birthed from the rising decadence amongst the young men, starting from the southeast where we come from, and then spreading over to, on a national scale. Like I would always say, we never hear of female bandits. We never hear of hear of head women.
Yeah.
We never hear of female terrorist gangs or kidnapping gangs or cultism groups. It's always the boy child. Granted that at the time these people become menaces in the society, they have become men, but they were once boys.
Yeah.
So then it highlights the gap that there is a bit of a departure from the way the formation of there's a bit of a connect rather between the formation and the development of the boy child and most of the prevalent social challenges that we're experiencing in society. So the vision of the summit is to bring young male adults into the room. We take ownership of some of the challenges we are facing, identify what the problems are, and begin to have conversations around finding solutions and reframing this whole concept to preach more positivity and to allow men to express what are our own peculiar travails and our own peculiar challenges in the journey of life. You said something about a lot of attention being paid to the girl child.
Yeah.
It's not that there's anything wrong with that. But if you notice, a lot of the conversations that revolve around the girl child still are linked to the boy child. Gender-based violence, domestic violence, bottlenecks in employment, the imbalance in terms of slots and access for the male child as compared to the female child. All these things still point to the fact that we treat the symptom, which is the woman.
Yeah.
How do we preserve her dignity in a society like this? But nobody's ever brazen enough to address the root cause, which is the formation and the development of the boy child. So these are some of the issues that we are looking to bring to the fore through this platform and hopefully get the necessary traction we need.
This is wonderful. When I said it before that something huge is coming, something of interest. Please, Doc, this summit is like the summit is like our join.
Yes.
Is it for everybody? What does it look like? When is it happening?
Okay, the summit is just happening on Friday.
Okay.
On Friday, the 3rd July 2026. It is happening here live in the city of Aba. In fact, it's something novel. For me, I feel that Aba hasn't witnessed something like this.
Of course.
So we are coming with something out of the box. So it's happening at Aba Town Hall by 9 a.m. And we are having 2 sections that day. The first section is going to be for students from primary to secondary. So yes, so let's say between the ages of 10 to 17, we are going to have the first section with them, which will run from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then at 1 p.m. exactly, we switch over to the next section, which we are expecting boys from the ages of say 18 to 35. So it's going to be 2 sections, a power-packed day indeed.
You are very lucky. I was hoping to hear you stop at 30 or 29. I would have said no, please shift it to make it 40, because someone like me will want to attend this summit.
Yes, even though we say the age limit is 35, that does not automatically rule out those who are stretched to 40, because it's an information that every man needs to know. Thank you very much. You know, just before I drop, my brother said something very striking. You know, we've been dealing on the symptoms. We've been dealing on the symptoms. You see a situation whereby the girl is being raped. That is a symptom. It is the boy who moves to rape
the girl.
Yeah. So why are we focusing more on the symptom and neglecting the root cause? So what we are going to do is just like someone who has symptoms of malaria, and you move ahead, you have catarrh, you have fever, you just go and say, give me medicine for catarrh, and you do not treat malaria holistically. So what we are trying to do that day is we are trying to have a holistic punch on the social vices that has crept into the society. And to do this, we cannot do it without a holistic approach on the boy child.
That's wonderful.
So what we are trying to do is that we want to get to the root cause of if it is the boy that will rape the girl. So why do we tell the girl to be a good girl or be a good lady? For us, we belong to the school of thought that holistically believes that the best thing to do is to handle the boy and tell the boy why he or she should not get into such social vices. Now, when we talk about drug addict and all the rest of them, it is still the boy who gets on along the line. He drinks and before you know what is happening, he's looking for the next girl he can grab. So when you grab the boy, you have grabbed the society. And let me say this. William Wilsworth said something. He said, and I quote, if you want to get the society, get the man. And I am adding, if you want to get the man, get the boy. That's why we are here.
This is just an initiative of Catch Them Young.
Beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Beautiful.
You know, when you were saying this, all of these things, my mind struck back to some videos that trended some weeks ago about some students who graduated from the secondary school. They were signing out, and we saw a whole lot of things that happened. In fact, we talked about it on this platform. We saw some of them drinking, some of them, in fact, a particular picture was flying up and down where...
In fact, if you saw that picture very well, how I wish people can just project that picture.
Yes, we will.
You would see in the picture, of course, I discussed it on my platform, you would see a boy trying to hold the breast of a lady, and you will see another boy who is helping him, guiding him well. So in my discussion on that, I said, let's assume that boy, the one holding the boy's hand, if you have caught that boy,
of course,
you understand, he wouldn't get into that. So that's why we are here. That's why we are here.
I want to ask, beyond this summit that will happen on Friday, what other approaches does this Nwoke Di Nma Initiative have to do? What other approaches are we looking at to help curb the society and the menace, just like we have had it in the society? You know, you have mentioned a whole lot of this that has been happening in the society, but some way, somehow, before you come to this question, are we going to trace this back to the society itself, or to parenting, or to school? Is it about religion? What have you to say about this whole thing?
It's a good question. The truth is that there's none of it that you look at in isolation if you really want to get a genuine solution.
Okay.
Everything works together, especially in our kind of climate with our own kind of peculiarities. We have sayings here that it's not only the parents that raise children. You understand what I mean? A parent is doing what they need to do sometimes, but that kid now goes into secondary school, goes into the boarding house. The parent is not there. There is society, there's another value system that is operating there. So parents definitely have a role to play, but this is a problem that society has to take responsibility for. It's not one that we are not apportioning blame to anybody.
Okay.
The religious society needs to take responsibility. The educational institutions need to take responsibility. And if we look in recent times, we've seen all sorts of decadence. We've seen men in the religious institutions. We've seen men in the academic institutions. We've seen men in the corporate world, all whose conducts have been brought to question for one reason or the other. These things did not happen overnight.
Yeah.
These are habits that have formed over time. But what is even most damning is that a lot of these people have grown with the understanding that nothing will happen because they are men.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So society has a way of excusing some of our excesses because we are men. Likewise, society has a way of burying some of our own challenges because we are men. And we are now saying the time has come for all of this to be brought to the table. If we are going to build a secure society, if we are going to build a safe society, nobody needs to hide. We need to call out what our problems is. Men are struggling. Let us be honest with ourselves. When it comes to when a lady gets married, for instance, you hear things like, "Oh, she has just become a wife. It's a new terrain. She needs to understand how marriage works. But so also does the man. He's not been married before. A boy needs to be prepared for the role of being a husband, just like a woman needs to be prepared for the role of being a wife. So those conversations need to come to the fore if really we are going to have the kind of society we want. But to answer the question you asked first, as God helps us, this is not supposed to be a one-off event.
Okay.
We are looking to create a chain of engagement that will really stamp what we represent in history, not just for any single individual's credit, but so that it will be said that it is on record that there was a generation of men from our climate, from Abia State, from Aba, from wherever, who recognized some of these prevailing challenges. We are brazen and bold enough to call them out for what they are and adopt constructive measures to see how we can address them. So after this flagship summit, we hope to get into schools, get into primary schools, get into secondary schools, have conversations. We hope to advocate very strongly for setting insertions into academic curriculum to pay attention to how to be a man or how to be a lady. You see, even from eating etiquette to sitting etiquette, there's a way a man will walk in here and his body language already makes him look like he's feeling larger than life. Even when he's in a room that has people that he should be humbling himself to learn from, you shut yourself out of opportunities just by having the wrong demeanor. So these things, we take these things for granted, but they are important. So we need to teach men how to be men, how you talk to elders, how you see and recognize boundaries, where your own freedom of expression ends. That is where another person's own freedom starts. So we need to understand where those boundaries are. We need to call things out how they are. Men should be able to express their emotions. They should be able to love boldly. They should be able to dislike things and call it out and not be afraid that, my leader here is not going to be happy. We need to purge those sentiments. Look right into what are our own peculiar challenges and what can we as a people do to begin to address those things. It might be difficult to say certain things to a 40-year-old or a 44-year-old or a 45-year-old, but those guys between the age of 10 and 17, what you can properly indoctrinate into them in that time, it goes a long way to determine what kind of men they become. So they need to know that there are things that society does not accept anymore. Might be coming from a time where it was okay, these things could be shrugged off, he's a boy, but we need to now be in an environment, we need to now build an environment where boys understand that there are consequences for actions.
Yeah.
But likewise, where you have challenges, you don't have to bottle them up. You can walk and talk through those challenges as a community.
Exactly.
And also, let me just say something to what he had said. You see, we are coming with lots of models. The first model is this program,
the summit.
The summit. That's the first model. You know, we want to introduce something that looks more like mentorship. You see, we are in a time whereby nobody mentors you. Nobody is teaching you. You are not following the footsteps of anybody.
Yeah.
And if you look very well, just like I said, if you want to get the society, first grab the boy. You see that we are in the days where the society has gone nosedive. There is no etiquette. There is no respect. You know, growing up as a boy, I was taught by my father, you don't bring your hand first to greet an elder.
Yeah, of course.
You don't greet an elder with your cap on your head.
Exactly.
But these things are seen as obsolete. You know, you see your elder, you say, "Mon, sir." What is mon, sir? So these are things we want to correct. These are 1,001 models that we've come with. So this summit is just beyond what we are seeing. We are going to go down. There is a high drive. We must reclaim the boy child. We must reclaim the man. If we do not do, I'm afraid that in no distant time, after we have prepared the girl for marriage, we wouldn't have a good man who will suit into that marriage. And of course, when we do not have the perfect man for that lady whom we have trained all this while, you will find out that the society will be in a mess. Why do you teach a girl about her menstruation? That she needs to be neat, she needs to do this, she needs to wear her undies once. But you see many boys, especially the younger folks, you see their armpits, you see it's just like bush. Nobody is teaching them. When the lady is neat and the boy is dirty, there is an imbalance. So what we are trying to do is to create that balance. We are trying to fill in the dots. There is a very big lacuna. We are trying to fill up the lacuna. That is why we have come specifically for the boy child.
You know, I am so much interested in this because they say charity begins at home. And of all the places, you know, you've gone places, and he too, at least as a lecturer in ABSU, you should have taken this program to ABSU to start from there, but you said to bring it home. That is a credit to us. But then you mentioned something about trying to make sure that the boy child is taught that there are limits to some things, and that, you know, we can easily, we believe, the society now believe that as a male child, we can easily shrug off some things off our shoulder. It doesn't matter, nobody cares, who cares, something like that. And I want to ask jokingly, is it part of the idea that men are polygamous in nature? Is that what?
But you see, even polygamy is a function of a broad agreement. There is a man and a woman, and somehow the other woman has accepted that another woman is going to come in, because if she does not accept, she will cause chaos, and that's not polygamy. So it's not really about polygamy.
Yeah.
The point is, the woman you are going to make part of your
Home.
polygamous arrangement must consent to it. You must be able to sell yourself to her successfully for her to agree.
Yeah.
But all of that is on the one side. The real vision is that I don't want us to also think we are just coming together to come and call out men for their wrongdoings, or call out boys for. Beyond those, the truth about the matter is that men have prevalent challenges that are peculiar to us. The same way a girl at 14, 15, she needs to be taught about what to do with advances when those advances are coming to her, the way she's taught about how to lead a healthy life, and especially with her interhuman relations and whatnot, that's the same way we also need to be mindful about how we inculcate in boys about how to traverse through those phases of their lives. And when they even come into adulthood, just like I've mentioned before, there are certain embodiments that a man has to have for him to be able to navigate through marriage. There are certain embodiments he has to have to be able to effectively discharge that expectation and responsibility of society. Once a boy is 17, 18, especially if he comes from a bit of an impecunious background where funds are not so available, they expect him to have started doing a trade, they expect him to have started learning something. And the society is now so bad that the boy child could go away, 6 months later or 10 months later, he comes back with an SUV, or he comes back with an account that is in 9 figures, and nobody asked him where that money came from. Nobody asked him what he has done to source that money. Even if 10 heads rolled as a result, it doesn't matter, because the narrative of being a man is that at all costs he must provide, he must make it. It is healthy to pursue, to give a man that level of inspiration, but it needs to be guided. If not, you're just walking a vicious cycle where there might be money in some pockets, because you see a lot of kidnappers have money these days. I even see on TikTok that they even do giveaways. Kidnappers are doing giveaways to people these days. So that might look like a humanitarian action, but the vicious cycle of it all is that there are people in the forest right now as we speak. There are people in the forest that don't know if they're ever going to see freedom again. So there needs to be intentional conversations about how to pursue wealth, how to deal with depression, how to deal with expectations, anxiety. What does it mean to be the head of a family? Who are you? You must be capable of leading yourself before you are able to lead a generation.
Of course.
So a man who is the first son of a family of 4 is going to have his own children. His siblings are going to have children. As those siblings looked up to their big brother, that is how they will also tell their children to look up to their big brother. If that big brother is a porous character, you can already see what kind of genealogy is going to come out of that.
I was going to ask you, this whole thing is really bottling back at what we have now and what we're expecting in the future, right? Now, I want to ask, with what we have from Nwoke Di Nma Initiative, what are we what will be our expectations in the next future with the boy child? A whole lot of things have been said, just like I said ab initio about the girl child. In fact, in the states today, the first lady of this state is one person who opposed that anything that has to do with the girl child. And that means at every point, even the wife of the first lady of the nation, you just keep hearing girl child, and just like you said, we can be able to have a whole lot of them, tons of them, well-trained, fixed, ready for marriage, ready for the future, but the boy child is not there. So where do we expect to see this whole thing with the initiative of Nwoke Di Nma Foundation?
Okay, thank you very much. Before I delve into that, it is quite expedient that we make this known. This is not a crusade against feminism. Neither is it a crusade for masculinity.
Okay.
What am I trying to say in effect is this? Nwoke Di Nma. We are trying to say that we can get Nwoke Di Nma. We can get Nwoke Di Nma in every sector of the economy. You come to the family, we would have raised a man whose head is correct, who is in charge of his family, who lives up to his responsibilities, who knows the way and shows the way.
Okay.
We come to the government. We come to all the sectors of the economy. Talk about what do you call it? Talk about politics, governance. Talk about entertainment. Of course, I say this boldly without mixing words. We tell ladies that most times they expose their breast and all the rest of them. But today you will see you will see many guys, they will dress outside just with their boxers, exposing their third leg. Is that not also part of sexual appeal? Yeah. So we are trying to raise Nwoke Di Nma. We are trying
Nwoke Di Nma
in every aspect.
That's beautiful.
Nwoke Di Nma. When you come to academics, you see this guy
sound man.
is flying high.
Okay, then,
he's
man.
leading the way. And of course, this you've just talked about the wife of the governor. Maybe this could also be an appeal to the wife of the governor and to all those in power. We have concentrated on our ladies. No, not more.
Okay.
We've not done much.
Okay.
We need to do more. But what we are trying to insinuate is while we do, let us strike a balance. Let us also think of the other way. Because if we get this right and we do not, if we get Nwoke Di Nma and we don't get Nwoke Di Nma, Obara everywhere. You understand? Are you with the Nwoke Di Nma and we don't have Nwoke Di Nma? Everybody in our family. Do you understand? And Nwoke Di Nma, everybody. So that is the crusade. And why we are doing this beyond this, most time for me, my parents, of course, they told us, they made us to believe that there is no responsibility that is the women's own, the girl's own. So we need to begin to.
I didn't get that.
No responsibility in the family is an exclusive reserve for any woman. Gender. Do you understand? So I know how to cook. I cook well. I sweep my house. Even now that I am married, most times my wife enjoys me going to the kitchen. And I do it with every sense of pride and humility. Are you getting the point? So, because if we do this, and we now, I'm a man. No, you're a woman. No. Oh, you were that person who you're saying you're a woman, this and that. In fact, let me say this. It is only a man that does not understand his position that will brag to a woman, I am a man. Okay. If I have to announce to you, I am a man, then I am not man enough.
Good. The actions should speak it.
You should lead the way. And this is what is missing in our society. Hence, the need for this all-important program to teach people about Nwoke Di Nma. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nwoke Di Nma, Nwoke Di Nma. You understand? This whole thing is beginning to make a whole lot of sense to me. And I don't think anybody in his or her, for now, because we're talking about the Nwoke Di Nma, in his right senses will want to miss this program. I think it is one of a kind, and anyone who wishes to have a better future, because the initiative is trying to tell us that in the nearest future, in the next 20 years, in the next 30 years, we should be having men of sanity, men who can be able to stand and say, I am a man, and people will say, yes, you're a man, and not by just words, by actions and by reactions. That is wonderful. Please, your last words before we go.
Okay, my last words essentially is just building on what you have said. Every man who cares about his society, cares about the community, will admit to themselves that there is a certain level of decadence in our society today that we are not necessarily happy about, we are not impressed by. Now, silence is consent. If we continue to keep quiet in the face of these challenges, it will only exacerbate. And when it exacerbates, truth is that the boy child is gradually going into extinction. We're just going to have male species of human beings, but not boys and men in the real content of, with the content of character that status depicts. So I'm calling on boys and men of good conscience. I understand I'm a guy, I understand what the challenges are, I understand what you're going through, and I'm saying that we need to start creating a healthy community for ourselves, where we can own up to our problems, figure out a way to solve those problems, and project ourselves as the real protectors and guardians of our society. God bless you all.
That is wonderful. Doc, please, your last words, and then you also tell us about this program again.
Thank you very much. We can't exhaust all we have about the program.
Of course.
So we are just
if you exhaust here,
yes,
they will not come.
No. I know that if you allow me, I can take 3 hours to talk about this program.
Yeah.
But then let me say something about it. Some of the speakers we are bringing, these are speakers that you cannot just get anyhow. We have one man who has 5 master degrees and 1 PhD. 5 master degrees.
How? What's he doing with it?
Beautiful. Come and see what he's going to do with it. And that man I'm telling you about is the chairman of Tax appeal. So you need to know what it means for one man to do the first master degree, second one, third one, fourth one, got to the fifth one, and now has a PhD. So all his life experience, he's going to compress them and pour it on us within 30 minutes. And this conference is a free conference.
Okay.
So we are not charging any penny. Nobody is trying to tell you. No get fee. It's a free something. You just walk in and that is it. Of course, you know the Abba. We have an Abba maid. Talks me. Ugwumba Development. You know him.
Yeah.
He's our Abba own. So he's coming. He's going to share from his experience. We have a lots of them. We have his lordship,
Justice Chiemeze Nwakama.
He will be there live and direct, and 1,001 of them. So what we are saying is, please, this is beyond us. We are calling other organizations. We are calling the government. We are calling the churches to get into this crusade. Let's get the boy child. Let's get the girl child. Let's build a healthy society. I will be pleased. Those of us in the universities, we are not finding it funny, because when the boy child is spoiled, the only thing we can do there is try to retrofit them, if we can. You understand? So that's why we need to get them at this level. Thank you so very much. We look up to seeing you. Remember, from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock, we are having those from ages 10 to 17. That's to tell you that what we are doing is in models. We have different schemes for them. Then from 17 to 35 and down, we have them from the hours of 1 p.m. It will stretch to 4 and thereabout. It's going to be a fantastic time. I didn't tell you that we are going to empower some youths in this conference. Yes.
Wow.
We are empowering them, about 20 of them.
So we've set up something called the Knowledge, Impact and Enterprise Support Fund. So we are going to provide some support for the primary and secondary school students, but the young adults as well. We've identified people that we are going to be providing some interventions for. These are young adults who are in the university that are sustaining themselves through school, and young school leavers who have learned one vocation or the other and are looking for support to boost their productivity. So the goal is that ultimately we will be able to create a brand that speaks for itself, that has all the credibility to attract external support. And this year we are able to reach out to 20 people. Next year we'll be able to reach out to 50 by God's grace, and we are able to scale it up.
It keeps going.
Thank
you very much.
Oh, so I don't know. I don't think you still want to miss the program. 3rd of July, 2026. Let's all meet at Abatown. Just this Friday. Let's meet at Abatown. I'll be there. I'll be there in the first session. I'll be there in the second session, because I want to let me get those things I was not able to get when I was at that age, and then get the ones that will help me now that I'm here. So we can continue. Stay tuned, and then we hope for the best. Thank you for coming, and God bless you. Thank you. Welcome, sir.
You're most welcome. Thank you.